All right. Beep.
Beep.
Yeah, you're still hella delayed.
Beep.
I'll just restart your camera. You have to do it, so news. Keep the trend going. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh. Welcome back. It's always something.
to the Lousy Show. It is always something.
Lousy.
Are we going to be dealing with a really bad Discord delay? Is that what's going to happen?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're good then. Okay. Yeah, it was
just
weird for a second.
Honestly, I think it just might be me because I'm doing multiple things at the same time.
Fair. Are you using the same PC to do that? I can't remember.
To do what?
Like, are you using two PCs to run?
Yeah.
Okay. It shouldn't mess up that bad.
I mean, nothing's messing up.
Well, based on what you were saying, like it sounded like something was happening. You were saying that you were doing multiple things, so it's more likely.
Oh no, I was just like clicking all the recording button because I have to hit record twice, right? And then I look at all the levels and everything, make sure everything is good. Like I double check and triple check everything, and so my focus is not 100% on you because fuck you. And yeah, so I think it was more of just not a Discord delay, but a Sam delay. Of my brain can only process so much at once.
That's fair. That's very fair. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody has had a wonderful week and weekend. We're in August for our football fans out there. Actual like hand egg, not football. The season's almost here.
Preseason's already up.
Oh man,
We've been watching it. I mean, it's basically shittier than college football, but hey, whatever.
At this point,
yeah, I'll take it.
No, I'm hyped for college football to be back too, man. That's when the real shit begins.
I don't really watch college football, honestly.
I feel like you would enjoy it, especially like hard hitting games.
But it's a lot.
Join me in Ohio State. It's a lot like the Niners.
Is it?
It is. It's a team that always wins, and then when we get to the championship, we lose. Just hey, just to set your expectations neutral. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I think if I do anything, I'll just watch it because I don't really care about college teams, honestly. That's fair. There's also so much movement in college teams that I'm like, I can't really get invested.
That's very fair. That is very fair. Well, I will say, it's funny you use the term watching it, and we're saying that we were watching things because today.
What a segue. Good God.
Look, I caught that and I was like, the brain went, take it. No, today, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we're going to be reacting, providing opinion, discussing, much like a podcast would, the most recent MrBeast situation that's taking place.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna say now, trigger warning. Just
there's some
like,
shit. Yeah.
There's some shit that we're about to talk about. So trigger warning. I cannot stress that enough. Trigger warning. If you don't know what's going on, I typically would not recommend leaving our channel to go watch something else. Unless we're not your flavor, then by all means, hey, we totally get it. But the truth of the matter is, I would highly recommend going to watch the dogpack videos and potentially the Jake Weddle videos before watching this, or at least scrub them so you know what's going on.
Yeah, I should definitely link them down in the description below, just to see, so you can go and do your own research and whatnot. We're just talking about it. We're not telling you how to think or anything. Just, we're giving our own opinions. They are, at the end of the day, opinions and do not reflect anything.
Yes, so. This is solely opinion based. There's nothing that
we're becoming a drama channel, everybody. So
it had to happen.
Yep.
Ludwig's leaving the drama, giving it to us. Okay, that's what's happening. No. But future Sam, do me a favor, like while you're editing this right now, send me a message to put those links in the description later. To send future Joe You send Future Joe a message, let him know, put the links in.
I'm confused. Future.
No, before we get going though, I do want to give a shout out real quick. Something that I actually have been wanting to do for a while on our channel.
Okay.
And something that I really like, because I like, we have our fair share of shitty comments that come through. Hashtag male take, hashtag cis white male, hashtag, contrarian to the main thought.
All of it.
All of it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a whole video of those comments that we did.
Yeah, just look up. Well, we'll probably link that one too. Lousy comments.
Yeah. Future Sam, tell Future Joe to link that
God
one too.
damn it. Future Sam's gonna be so busy. Future.
But no, I want to give shout outs because we do read the comments that come through on our channel. We do appreciate everybody who comments. We do, if you haven't noticed, we do give shout outs. Like we've given shout outs for people who have kept track of RPS on the AITA episodes, who keep track of timestamps when they're talking about stuff. Even just people who put really nice comments out there. So I want to give a shout out real quick. It's Hell in the Cloud 7074 commented as of recording this 16 hours ago, saying, "Just found your podcast and I am loving it. Thank you. We appreciate that. That means a lot to us."
Very much. Thank you.
So yeah, as you were looking it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was screenshotting it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I greatly appreciate that. Comments like that do make us very happy, and it means a lot to us that you would take the time to, sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and listen to two lousy dudes provide some somewhat lousy comedy and lousy opinions and lousy hot takes and lousy. So we appreciate that immensely. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's dive in.
Splash.
I'm gonna be real with you, dude.
Yeah.
I was not anticipating something of this nature boiling over the way it did. But hindsight's 2020, and after the Ava Tyson scenario and seeing a lot of the shit that happened then and a lot of the things that came to light, it's becoming less and less surprising.
Yeah. It's a lot of things. Honestly, like, I've never been like a MrBeast stan or a hater, either one.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, as I'm watching videos over the years, a lot of things have kind of come into question of, like, how are they doing that? And that, I guess, we'll jump more into kind of the first part. If you go back and watch the first dogpack video, a lot of it is centered around illegal lotteries and gambling. And I don't watch every single video. Like, if it pops, like, I don't even subscribe because I don't really care if he beats 2 series or whatever the fuck he's trying to do now.
He already has.
Oh, okay, whatever. But I remember always thinking, like, these seem not necessarily fully sketchy, but in the gray area of certain things, because I've seen a lot of giveaways and companies start and get shut down and blah, 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 that were following a very similar kind of principle that MrBeast was, and is, excuse me. And yeah, definitely now looking back, I'm like, oh shit, this is bigger than I thought. And for those that don't know, basically the illegal, like, lotteries thing is every time he's like, if you buy a Feastables chocolate bar right now, we'll give you $100 or something like that. Or hey, if you buy a Feastables chocolate bar, you're gonna come to the factory and I'll give it to you, or some shit like that.
Or one of the ones that I remember distinctly, because I remember watching this live stream, was he was hitting a certain number of subscribers and he was doing t-shirt signings, and it was discussed in the dogpack video as well. And he said, if you buy a shirt in the next 5 minutes, we'll pick a random winner. Which, for those lotteries, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be no purchase necessary.
Yeah.
For those kind of things. And sorry, yeah, that I want to add that in as like an extra layer of what you were saying, but go ahead and continue.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go, is that, like, yeah, a lot of these things, you know, you see, I follow a lot of like car channels, and they'll be like, hey, if you go and buy our merch, you know, you'll get entered for a chance. It's like a raffle to win this truck or this car or this cool thing. But then they're always like, hey, there's no purchase necessary. The details for that are down in the description. And it's usually like, you know, if you mail in a postcard to the certain address, you can do that so many times. I remember, that reminds me of my mom back in the day. We were living in California at the time, so this is like 99, 2000, something like that. Yeah. She was big on watching HGTV, and they used to do the dream home giveaways. And those were all just like straight up, like, it's not buy something and you get a chance. This was just like, you mail in your ballot basically, and if they pick the lucky number, then it's you.
Yeah.
I remember there was no limit to how many you can send in, but they had to be handwritten was the stipulation. And so my mom, my dad, and myself, she got us each a pack of 1,000 cards and then 3,000 stamps. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Back in the day. And sent in, and guess what? We didn't fucking win. But I remember, I still feel the carpal tunnel.
Yeah, that's fair.
From back when I was 8, you know. Just handwriting all these things.
Your mom did that. My mom actually thought a Nigerian prince was going to financially save her. So, you know.
See, there's lotteries, and then there's just straight up scams, right?
Right, exactly.
And MrBeast falls somewhere in the middle.
Somehow. No, like talking about the lotteries though, one of the big things that really stood out was the fake signatures.
That one clip, man, I was like, oh fuck, he fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And you could tell he did it because it was second nature. Like he had done it and he didn't even think twice about it. And then when he did it, he realized, oh, the camera's pointed right at me. Oh, you know, and their cameraman, I can't remember his name, was sitting right next to him, and you even see him look up like,
yeah.
Oh no, like, because this is a live stream. This isn't some like video they can just crop it out. This is a live stream, and like the illegal lotteries happening like that. I remember watching one. I can't remember if it was that one, but I remember it was one I was watching where they were saying like, "Hey, if you buy something in the next 5 minutes, we're going to do this." And I remember watching this, going like, "Okay, you know what? I'm curious to see if they pull a winner. Like, who's going to win this?" And they didn't actually pull somebody for the next like 12 minutes, and forgot that they had done that, and they did a second one in the next 5 minutes after that. Like it was like bang bang, and they only pulled one winner. It's like, no, well, like where's the other winner? Like seeing just the inside scoop of what was it, the fake contestants?
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the biggest things MrBeast has always talked about. Like, yeah, we'll fly you out to North Carolina. We'll have you in a video. Like, the only time he's been legitimate with the contestants is when he's done, like, from what it seems, is when he did the YouTuber series. Remember when he did
and I even actually saw a clip of him talking about why he did all YouTubers. And he was basically saying, like, I need people to be on all the time. Like, as far as, like, camera ready, right? And, like, being interesting personalities. He's like, the problem I had with the general public was that a lot of them were boring as fuck. And I wanted them to be more interesting. And so, and that's even talked about in the second dogpack video. There's a guy named Jake Weddle who was part of the MrBeast crew for, like, I think 2 years or a year or something like that.
I think it was about
2019,
a year.
2020, 2021. Yeah. He like went, came back, went, you know, did a few different things, but and yeah, he's a writer for the show, but then you know, like, you know, he comes up with the ideas, but then they also like put him into things too. And yeah, a lot of plants, like what Hollywood would do, you know. And just that by itself, to me at least, makes the entire channel illegitimate.
Absolutely.
Just because like he always goes off of the basis of like, oh, it's totally authentic. You know, these are all real people. Which I mean, yeah, they're real people, but you know, it's
2
sketchy,
points
for sure.
2 points of what you've said so far. One, you were talking about the word you used was personality, and how like the Gen Pop, some people don't have that personality he's looking for in a video. Jake Weddle actually talked about that in the second video about why he got removed from videos, like why a lot of his stuff ended up on the cutting room floor was because his personality outshined MrBeast. And Jimmy, and he, in his words, Jimmy didn't want that. Jimmy didn't like that. So that would immediately get cut out because he was, you know, wisecracking jokes, and he was always like, he was part of the crew. He was the top 3, you know. MrBeast has always had a top 3. It was, you know, before the transition, it was Chris and Chandler and Jake, and then Carl came in. Of course, Chris transitioned to Ava, and it was Ava, Carl, and Chandler. At one point, like Jake the Viking was in there. Like you had this crew who was always, there was this core of people that were always with him. And it makes sense when you see like Chandler is just he's Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie, just Ed Boy, you know, like that's the character he plays. And then it kind of really is like when you look at the 3 of them, it's kind of like Ed, Ed and Eddie, where you have like, you have Ed, who has always been like Chris, now Ava, of course, who's like that front runner next to the main character. You have Double D, who's definitely Carl, and then you have Chandler, who's just Ed. You know, like, yeah. And that's kind of how they've always been. But when you see those personalities outshine, like you notice a lot of that gets displaced, whether by a side-headed comment or Jimmy trying to one up or something like that to make it, to keep him in that allure of it all. And it really, like, when to the second point, you were talking about the authenticity of the channel. That is, I fully agree. Like, now that we've seen these plants, like, yeah, they use Hollywood plants in movies and stuff, but that's because when you have a movie set, right, you go there with the intent to build a fascinating world that is not real.
Yeah.
Jimmy has always made the claim that his videos are authentic. Every single step is always authentic. There's no loopholes, no gimmicks, nothing of that. It's real, it's raw, it's in your face. And he even posted a video. I remember it was like a few months ago. He posted a video of doing a lie detector test, and they asked like, "Have you ever faked your videos?" And he said, "No." And it came back saying that was the truth. But even that was false. Like even that whole video was fake. And it's just you see the inauthenticity now. And truth be told, in the day and age of viewership and retention and attention, I'll be honest. I don't, as much as I see the dogpack videos and I go, yo, if not that this is, because this is still all speculation, but if all this is true and dude's got the facts to back it up, I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think people are still brainwashed into watching.
Well, I mean, especially like his core audience are 10 to 14-year-olds probably, you know?
Yep.
There's even a clip in that where he was talking about like his analytics, and it was showing like 18 to 24, and he's like, yeah, it shows 18 to 24, but I know that's bullshit because most kids lie about their age anyway. So he's like, more than like more realistically, from what I see going out and everything, it's pretty much all children. And that makes it extra fucked. Because not only is he doing all of this, like if you're to like, you know, fake some shit for adults, you know, scummy, but you know, whatever, you know, the adults are, you know, should be smart enough to be able to look around that. Kids typically aren't. And then on top of that, Dogpack was talking about it, of using sugary treats like Feastables. And then when he had MrBeast Burger, you know, he was claiming that they were doing a lot of like healthy things. You know, it's like a true chocolate bar as opposed to like some other kind of bullshit. Are you good?
Yeah, my lights were fucking up. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was listening.
I just want to make sure we didn't need to like pause or anything.
No.
But and And then like there's the whole fiasco of MrBeast Burger that nothing, they were never good.
Well, also you saw the pictures of all the raw shit, right?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's a little extra fucked when it's all kids.
Yeah.
But because of that, I don't think anything's going to happen because the kids aren't going to give a shit. They're still going to keep watching. So if he can dodge the lawsuits, he can keep doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Which, with the money he makes, he's got to have a good ass lawyer to be free and clear for as long as he has.
Well, and one of the things that really grinds my gears in this whole scenario is with that inauthenticity. Like, I agree with you 100%, because his viewer base is kids, not going to make a fucking difference. Like, the kids are still going to watch. But one of the things that stands out to me is he has a multitude of channels.
Yeah.
Beast Games, Beast Reacts, one that I watch because that's something that I really enjoy. We've talked about this before, and I know I love this. I love charity. I love being able to provide charity. I love being able to help. If I can be a part of an event, I will. It's not for me. It's because I like to help legitimately.
Yeah.
And I watch his channel Beast Philanthropy a lot. Like, I love seeing the world views come to life basically through hard work and dedication. What fucking burns me up, and this was brought to light, I believe, in the second video that Dogpack did, is no, it was because Jake actually commented on it. Jake Weddle made a comment about how MrBeast does not give a fuck about the poor.
No.
As long as he can make someone look emotional and use that as fuel for his video, he will do it. And Jake went on record, I remember saying, like, there's been times where he'd be like, hey, can you look a little more sad? Can you cry a little more for the video? It'll really help. It'll really bring this, like, and to know that's the case when you go and see these Beast Philanthropy videos, like, one that really fucking touched me was he built, I think it was 100 houses for families. Like, that's no small feat.
Yeah.
But to know that was his motive behind it, like, yeah, you spent the money, but it's kind of like that Tony Stark mentality of like, yeah, I've got the money, but praise me like I'm God instead,
Yeah.
Like, oh, can you do this a little more to make it look a little more authentic? It just, it burns me up, because it's like people like that are shitty human beings. Like, do it out of the goodness of your heart. And one thing that actually, I will say this, for a while, I was actually wanting to get a channel going where I could kind of like be a bit on the philanthropy side, not so much being able to dump so much money in, because the overhead on that at the start's a lot. But being able to go out and like bring awareness to charitable campaigns, to being able to help, so on and so forth. I don't want to fucking do it anymore. Because one of the points that was brought that really made sense to me was Jimmy is the kind of individual where he will go and shove a camera in a poor man's face while he gives him $10,000 and go, oh, look, I'm changing his life. See? And he's not doing it because he's changing the dude's life. He's doing it because he's getting views.
Yeah, I think, and let me jump in for a sec. I think the problem with MrBeast now, I think he started out with good intentions, but he's been so laser focused on being the best YouTuber. He's kind of sold his soul at this point.
Yeah,
to where
100%.
He'll do anything to just get the better video. And so he's like, all right, what do people like? Chocolate. All right, what do people like? Giving shit away. All right, what do people like? Burgers. Fuck the burgers. Let's put those back. But that's all it is he's just looking for a better and better YouTube video, on multiple fronts. And he's now at this point, to quote the awesome, great Harvey Dent, you either
go ahead.
You either
die the hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yep. That's going to be really weird to sync up later.
Yep.
Thank you.
Communication.
I'm just going to mute that whole segment.
Right. No, I agree with you on that. I do. It's funny. It's funny you say that, like how laser focused he's become. I remember there was an interview he did where he always talked about like he doesn't give a fuck how much money he makes. He still lives in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And this was years ago. How he was like, I still live in a 2-bedroom apartment and I drive a shitty car and all this other stuff. And then you start seeing those changes happen where he's driving a Tesla now because that gets views. He showed up on fucking Flagrant with Andrew Schultz in a Gucci tracksuit. Like,
yeah.
You're telling me you don't spend money and you're going to show up in a fucking Gucci tracksuit, dude? Like, I remember watching that and I was like, I was listening to him talk, but at one point I was like, this isn't this isn't the same t-shirt and, cargo shorts dude that we've watched before. Like,
yeah,
this is a very different individual. And admittedly, like, one thing I had to tell myself at the time was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe he is a little different when the cameras are off. Who knows? But I do agree with you that he has truly sold his soul for YouTube. He is YouTube's golden boy.
Yeah.
No matter how you shake it.
Why nothing's going to happen.
Correct.
Unless like some really damning evidence comes out or something,
And it like, yeah, exactly. I think that unless something comes out where it is so heinous of an offense, which bear in mind, and Dogpack said this in the second video, apparently I think it's the CEO or some highfalutin individual over at MrBeast's company was like digging, calling people that knew Dogpack and calling Dogpack as well, digging for information, going, what does he know? And Dogpack said, don't worry. And this is trigger warning again. He said, don't worry. The sexual misconduct in the office place, the SA allegations, all that'll be in video 3. And when I heard that, I went,
yeah.
like, because it's the first video already enticing enough. Bit of a slow burn, not gonna lie. When you watch
first,
it, just be prepared. It's a slow burn. But when you watch it, the further you go, you're more like, there's no fucking way.
It's like
then you
20,
watch,
you're like hooked.
Yeah. Then you watch the second video and you're like, this doesn't let up. This is just we're Mount Everest.
Yep.
If that third video comes out with that, we've left Everest. We're in orbit. Like, there's no and like even in the second video, I want to go back and talk about Jake Weddle for a second, because I watched Jake Weddle's longer uncut plus his second video, which was a response to Jake the Viking. Two key things that come out of that really, really bothered me. We've made mention already that his MrBeast's core audience is kids. Why is a sex offender on his payroll?
Yeah, and then they literally tried to cover him up
by putting a mask on him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Future Sam, if you wouldn't mind, just throw a screenshot up real quick. Like, that, like, huh? And come to find out, I think it was, and I'll look this up real quick. Actually, I'll read Jake the Viking's tweet on this, because he is related to Jake the Viking.
Oh, I thought they looked familiar, or similar, I should say. But
so let's see. So here we go. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware. That's what they called him, as Delaware.
No, that's right.
Because that's where he has his, like, it's where he's registered, dude.
He can't go back to Delaware.
Correct. So yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. Yes, he's a RSO. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took a plea deal. That's why there's no jail time, but he still had to register. His nickname, okay, so he's saying his nickname isn't Delaware because he can't go back to Delaware. He's from Delaware. But that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's been back several times.
But it was multiple people saying they call him Delaware because of that. Right?
Yeah.
So even if it's not, which, I mean, I guess that makes it a little bit better, but it's still not good. But then the entire company kind of knows this, as a colloquial nickname.
Oh, this is even worse.
Uh-oh.
So the next paragraph, he was hired before I was, and was actually the reason I got hired at MrBeast. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew.
Yikes.
So let's look at this for a second. Like we said, you knew and willingly hired an RSO onto your payroll, had this individual not only participate in videos, but also be at certain on-sites as well, from my understanding. And you also know your primary demographic is kids.
That's, even if he's innocent, you know, and wrongly accused, just the fact that he is an RSO and that you knew it and that you still allowed that employment to happen. I get backing your boy, but he's doesn't really sound like much of a boy, for one. But then two, that's just dumb. Yeah. I wonder if I can somehow program the YouTube algorithm to stop showing me that shit, like his shit. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, even before all this was coming out, I went to go watch one MrBeast YouTube because I was bored. I didn't have anything else to watch. And I was like, oh, let's see what he's up to now. And it was like 2 people trapped underground or something like that. And just the beginning of it was so reality show bullshit that I couldn't watch it. It was so fucking cringy. And I was just like, what the fuck is this turned into? Like, I get the whole, like, survive and get a bunch of money thing. But I just...
Well, and I'll get to my second point in a moment, but to that same vein of what you're saying there, I agree with you on that. My personal favorite was when he was doing the challenges, like when he was doing, you know, hide and go seek, last to leave the circle,
Buried Alive one.
You Buried Alive,
cool.
Last to take their hand off $1 million, like that kind of thing, like that kind of stuff is riveting stuff because because you know about me, I love challenges. I love watching it because it's like, not that I want to see someone get to the literal breaking point mentally or physically, but I just want to see, like, that's drama. I want to see who wins this. Like, I'm not going to go watch The fucking Bachelor. No, I admittedly, I used to watch back in the day. I don't know if you remember this on MTV, the Real World Challenge.
No, never watched that.
Oh, dude. So they have the Real World, which is their like drama, like everyone in a house kind of thing, all living their lives, sexy coast loving.
Like Big Brother
I said, fuck all that.
Or no, not Big Brother. What was the?
It was called Real World.
No, there was another one. Yeah, it was Big Brother House, right? Not on MTV.
I think it might have been Big Brother, but so the closest thing I can relate to it is Jersey Shore.
I mean, I never watched that either.
Which
didn't
watch that. I just know because Jersey Shore was a massive thing back in the day.
Apparently not massive enough for me.
Well,
I mean, I'm aware of the Jersey Shore, but I never knew what the premise was other than just it was a bunch of fucking
brother
spray tan Italian American
you lived in Podunk nowhere and you did not watch anything besides like that says everything right there. Like
I watched Billy Bob's 30-minute wrangling hour.
No, you watched a lot of your TV screen with Guitar Hero on that motherfucker. You were a legend of that game. I remember that. And still are.
Okay, I was gonna
say. You're welcome.
Give me my flowers, bitch.
But no, like, watching all those challenges, like, because, I grew up watching the Real World Challenge, which was really fun to watch, like watching Joey Bananas, watching fucking CJ, like all the guys. I still remember names from those shows that I watched because it was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, there was a level of drama to it in between rounds, but the challenges were insane. Yes, they were strapped in if they were on a high rise. Yes, there was an element of danger in each one of them, but it was so fun to still watch. Same thing with MrBeast videos. There's that element of danger when you see someone on a high rise and they've got to clear log to log to log. There's an element of drama when you see 4 people on with their hand on $1 million or better yet, take it way back, long before they had this big production. Remember when he was doing like last to take their hand off the house wins the house?
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, that's fun to watch because there's a level of comedy in it when they're like, At one point, I think they were like rocketing like big marshmallows at him to see who would like trying to catch it or something. Like, it was just funny to watch. But to your point, again, like that authenticity level starts to fade away once you get to this big cinema driven level. But that brings me to this point. The level of drama that you shouldn't go for. Jake Weddle talks about, if you all haven't seen this video, probably wouldn't recommend watching it now, but how long can you last in solitary confinement?
Yeah.
Jake Weddle has records showing, and he had screenshots and videos and everything showing that the one that MrBeast released was not the original version. The first version was with Jake Weddle, and they were doing shit to him that physically and mentally incapacitated him.
Yep.
They made him run a marathon. He said he wasn't even a marathon runner. They made him run a marathon on a fucking treadmill. And by the time he was done, he couldn't even fucking walk because his feet were covered in blisters and all bloody.
Yeah.
They wouldn't shut the lights off. They wouldn't give him time to sleep. And the reason behind it was because it would fuck the time lapse up. They had the hot tub in there with no ventilation. So everything was just getting all fucking nasty and mildewy and shit. They had the damn ice cream machine in there that was like constantly just like so many things in that one room that literally had him in therapy and like he couldn't even get himself on a corrected sleep schedule, could barely sleep, could barely eat, was like stuck in therapy, and his therapist saying like, no, you need help. Like this is not good. Like they put him through war crime interrogation tactics.
No, not interrogation, just straight up war crimes. Like
war crimes, yeah.
So for going back to the lights, the Geneva Convention says you have to give nighttime hours. Like you have to let them sleep, basically. And with leaving the lights on, and he asked, he's like, hey, please, can we turn the lights off? And they were like, no, but that's literally a war crime. And when he was telling somebody else about it, they made the joke, but it was actually a fucking war crime. Not that it's a wartime thing, but it's still under the same tenets of torture that Geneva said, no. So the fact that he went through that, I feel bad for him, man. That's crazy. And
that's the thing is like that's why I don't watch a lot of YouTubers anymore. Like there's very few YouTubers who I'll watch. And I try to watch for authenticity. Like Markiplier, still love Markiplier. Why? Because he brings that level of authenticity. He has shown time and time again, and he's been very honest. He's like, hey, look, if you think I'm this cracked out when I'm in person, I'm not. I'm an introvert. It takes a lot for me to get wound up to be able to meet people, but I love meeting y'all. Like, he's just very honest and raw with his viewership, and that's what keeps a lot of people coming back to him, and it's helped him grow as big as he has.
Yeah.
Another group I watch a lot of, the Sidemen. Love the Sidemen. But even them, you go watch their personal shit and they're like, yeah, those videos get wild, but that's because we're with the boys. I not always like that. Like, you know, but they keep that level of honesty going of saying like, look, if you expect me to be that level of insane all the time, no. I have a wife, I have kids, I have, a life that I lead, I have things I do. Like those videos are meant to be, with the boys, being the Sidemen, and that's where you have to really, like, when you're watching these things, MrBeast has again become YouTube's golden boy, and it proves that you have to be careful who you put that attention span of trust into, especially if they're preaching they have authenticity and they don't. I know MrBeast has done interviews, but MrBeast has claimed over and over and over again that he's always been authentic, but that there's actual evidence showing nope.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, no, you haven't. And now again, like with the even though it's not wartime, the war crimes against Jake Weddle, the unfortunate events of people and how they got fired for no fucking reason, on grounds of literally just speaking up saying, hey, like, we should all probably be paid the same. Okay, cool. Next day you're met with a severance. Like, things like that. Like, there's so many different levels to this that you go, the guy that we grew up watching right? One, when the fuck did all this change? And two, how did we not see this? Like, how is he that good at covering this up? Like,
yeah. I mean, and
truly,
they talked about it in the video that, like, because he does all his philanthropy and, you know, all the other stuff, that people automatically will be like, oh, well, he's fine. He's a good guy. He's like, while he might do some good things, that's secondary to the end goal of, hey, did you click on the video? Did you like it? Did you watch the whole thing? You know, he just wants the bigger number, not necessarily in money for him personally, but, you know, just overall. Yeah. Like, he wants a subscriber number.
Absolutely.
And
well,
the
it's the fame.
Yeah.
Fame doesn't equate to finance. Fame equates to your name. Like, our sweet Lord and Savior T-Pain once said, "You ain't gotta have no bread, just act rich." You know, like, you go for the fame. You could walk into any club and say, "Yeah, I'm famous," and if someone believes you, guess what? You're fucking famous. You know, and I think that to a degree, I do believe that he might spend a little bit of that money. Which, I mean, shit. If you've put in the time and you've earned it, fuck it, full send.
Yeah.
But to an even more important degree, it's like you may not be chasing dollars, but you're definitely chasing that level of fame that you've obtained at this point. And it's kind of nuts that not only did you obtain that level of fame, you're the highest subscriber count YouTuber on the planet. But your misguided judgment decided to say all of this other shit that's happening, I'm going to let it slide.
Yeah. And not make any statements at all to this very moment as of recording.
We looked this up. We actually looked this up before we recorded. Yeah, I'm pulling this back up real quick. Mr. Beast. Let's see. I looked this up. The last official tweet that he released was July 24th. We're recording on August 11th, so 2 days before this very episode comes out. As of today, as of 9:43 p.m. on August 11th, he has not tweeted. The last tweet he has is on July 24th, stating, "Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I'm disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings." Oh, shit.
What?
Someone made a meme right beneath that. It's Liberty Pill memes. And it's a thumbnail with MrBeast holding up a case of cash. I'm going to send this to you, and I'll let Future Sam be the judgment on whether or not we put this on the screen.
Okay.
But it says it's him holding a case of cash in the bottom corner. Some cops walking Ava Tyson in a red jumpsuit out at the bottom of a courthouse steps. And a bunch of lawyers behind him says, "I hired 100 lawyers to save my friend Ava from allegations."
Oh, no. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's
so.
Yeah. So no response as of now. I mean, it's good he commented on the Ava thing, but because I mean that's a whole thing in and of itself. But now that begs the question, and they brought it up in the interview with Jake Weddle. Was he aware of / complicit with the not so savory actions of Ava? And if he was, is that the downfall of him, or does he somehow get out of that?
I see it like this. An individual I said I wouldn't talk about anymore, not necessarily on the show, but just in person. But I'll bring it up for the sake of the example. If anybody out there knows streamers, you've heard of the name Dr. Disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place on this planet for that nonsense. And I'm saying this very, very mildly.
Yeah.
Because we're on YouTube. There's no place on this planet for that nonsense. There's also no place for complicitness of that nonsense.
Yep.
If that didn't do him in, I would just lose all faith in humanity at that point and go, okay, your golden boy is more important than the fact that he was totally okay with his quote unquote best friend.
Yeah.
You know, if we're going to crucify all these other ones, the co-conspirators need to go too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just, because I know we said we weren't going to talk about the Ava Tyson situation. I don't really want to deep dive into that because I will get angry.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's a question I do have from that whole scenario, and this is an answer we have yet to receive, and something I absolutely despise because it's such a fucking corporate answer. Who's the third party investigative group, and when the fuck are they giving us answers?
Yeah. Or are they giving us answers? Or is it just going to go to him and he buries it? I mean, if he's hiring them, you know, it's probably going to be a thing, but he should, for his public image, post the results.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, yeah, and just be like, hey, you know, full transparency. This is what happened. And then maybe also at that point, take a moment to kind of reevaluate and start doing shit back like he used to. That was much more authentic.
Yeah.
Because when he first started out, he was pretty, you know, for the most part authentic. He was still probably a little bit of a sociopath, you know, and being like, hey, point the camera at the homeless guy. Let me give him $10,000 real quick. Yeah. You know, that part I never really, like, if you do philanthropy, do it in private, you know? Like, that's the part I have a problem with a lot of times. Like, you can show overall doing good things, but if that's like your whole thing, then I'm like, it's just bad taste in my mouth.
I see it like this, especially after seeing all of those, like how he acts and such.
Yeah.
Philanthropy and fame don't go hand in hand. You can be famous and be a philanthropist, but don't let the reason you're famous be you put a camera in a homeless person's face and fed them a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I know that might sound very general to the gen pop who watch us, but I mean, when it comes to doing something nice, you don't need to be like, oh my God, I'm giving someone $100 here. You know, like, you don't have to do that.
No.
You know, is it cool to, if you do like a charitable event or something like that, or if you're trying to bring awareness to something you're raising money for? Absolutely, fucking full send it. I would never stop someone to do that. We were just talking about this last week about how I've worked with Stack Up and I love Stack Up.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to go out here and find veterans who may be going through some of the worst traumatic experiences in their life and go like, oh my God, here, have a video game. Like, no, I'm not going to fucking do that.
Yeah.
I would much rather go, hey, you know what? I'm raising awareness by putting together something for an organization who I really appreciate and trust. Let's fucking do this. Here's some of the things I'm working on. Here's some things you could do as well. That's a raising awareness video, and that's something that I fully will back always.
Yeah.
But to know that someone would go, hey, can you cry a little more for the camera to make it look authentic? Fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
So in my closing remarks in this whole thing, I will say this. I fully agree with you that he needs to get this investigation for the first round of this shit done.
Yep.
He needs to post the results, and he needs to say something about these videos from Dogpack. He needs to make sure he is transparent as fucking possible, because this is not a good look. Like, if parents genuinely, you know, understand what's going on, they would stop their kids from watching. Like, that's the truth. Do I think anything's going to change? No. But do I believe that he still needs to do something, not to save face, but just to be honest? Yes.
Oh, 100%. And then I'm interested, but also terrified to see what's in the third video from Dogpack, because there's one more coming out. And like he mentioned earlier, it's an essay allegation.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be potentially the most damning evidence yet, if there's actual evidence, you know. So it's, I hope it doesn't get worse. Sounds like it's going to get worse, but it's all going to be in how Jimmy reacts and, you know, what statement he makes and what stand he takes. So
yeah, I don't want to tell y'all lousy listeners out there that we're going to be covering this again, because like Sam said at the beginning of this episode, you know, as much as the joke goes, we are not a drama-based channel. We never really have been. But this is definitely, you know, I view this on the same line as like when we talked about transparent try-ons and the shit that YouTube lets slip. This is very much that same vein.
Yep.
And because I see it like that, I'm like, it's fair for us to cover it, because we've already done that once. And we're like, what the fuck you doing, YouTube? If this shit comes out where Jimmy knew about all this shit and Jimmy was complicit with, you know, the RSO hire and, you know, basically all of this, really, I'm going to say the same thing like YouTube. What the fuck are we doing here? Like,
yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to speak on behalf of both of us here. I'm going to say just for me, do I anticipate us covering this story again? Probably not.
No.
But if it needs to happen and that video comes out and we both go, we need to talk about this, then it'll happen. Because that's basically how this came to be. I sent you the videos. I was like, have you seen these? We need to talk about this. Yeah. So,
yep.
But that's just from my perspective, Sam. By all means, speak on yours. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
100% agree. Yeah, like I don't like talking about shit like this. Honestly, you know, it's not something that I ever honestly really saw us doing, but with us being on the platform we are and wanting to kind of protect your home turf a little bit, you know, and make sure that it lasts for as long as it has. And then, you know, for, you know, a gajillion more years. Yeah. You know, I don't want to see some bullshit like that happening. Yep. You know, I don't want to see gross negligence. I don't want to see manipulation of an algorithm for the sake of, you know, some bullshit like what, you know, either is happening on Jimmy's side or the transparent stuff like what we were talking about, you know, like that's, you know, I don't want it to necessarily be like a fully family friendly place, but I don't want it to be a fucked up place, you know? Yeah. So that's where I'll leave it.
And honestly, to your point there, and I'm actually really happy you said that. That's something that we'll never be as a channel. Like, you know, we want to protect our home turf. Like we love YouTube. You and I have collectively been doing YouTube for what, like 4 years?
Well, I mean, just posting, sure, but then like, you know, I've been watching YouTube videos since it came out, you know. Yeah. And I've always kind of had like a wanting to kind of be part of that, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's unlimited entertainment, basically. Yeah. So
it is.
So I love it overall as a platform to be able to watch, you know, whether it's a really highly produced, you know, CGI included MrBeast game video, you know, from back then, or whether you're watching this bullshit right now, you know, from the lowly little, you know, two gingers that don't give a, you know, like, you know, like, you know, we're nothing really. You know, but I like the ability to go and do both, you know.
Yeah, even at that same point though, one thing I will pride us on is we're honest, we're open, and we don't do shit for clicks. We do shit because we have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't, our thumbnails are never super clickbaity. You know, we're very clear and concise, and you know what you're getting when you get in here, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I like that we've maintained that, especially through all of this bullshit. And And that's something that, you know, we will continue to maintain. We want to keep a level of transparency and authenticity for all of you who come to watch us. You know, we appreciate the near 1,100 people who have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate all the viewers we've gotten on all these videos. You know, we'll continue doing all the fun, lousy shit that we do. This is never going to be a click and watch to find out, you know, ooh, drama, you know, like, no, we're not going to be clickbaity. We've never been like that. But to your point, like this, we are YouTubers. This is our home turf too. And when someone disturbs the fucking home turf, you know, you got to speak on it. So
yep. Be gone. Get to step.
Yeah. in the words of the late 2010s, be gone, thought.
God.
Nah, that's where I'm leaving it there. But, you know, let us know in the comments what you think. If y'all do want a second part to this, if y'all feel as though we need to comment on this again, you know, we'll take that into a consideration if we decide to make another video on this. Again, no guarantee, but the truth of the matter is, like, we want to be as clear and concise with what our plan moving forward is with this whole scenario, and we hope that YouTube figures it out. We hope that all these, I mean, admittedly, I hope you know, I hope that Jimmy takes the right course of action here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but nonetheless, let us know in the comments what you think. You know, we appreciate if you like the video. We appreciate if you subscribe. If you want to watch more lousy shit, click our logo or click our name. Go check out all the other videos we do. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see you. If you made it this far, we can spoil it for you a little bit. We'll see you in a couple days. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Bye.